people always make me pronounce it differently, but that's the one I think it tastes pretty good.
Asahi. Very good beer. What do you got up for us tonight?
Well, we had an email, a good email from, who was it from? Gee, I can't read the name here, but said, look, I just wonder, Peter, what he thinks of Vanguard index funds. I'm in my early 30s and using them for a long-term strategy as they are low cost and low tax, etc. Now, I actually brought up history. I've actually pulled Vanguard up. I actually like the company.
What is it?
Well, it's an American company, American-based company, but they've been in Australia for a long time. And when managed fund managers are out there charging a heap load of money and often underperforming, Vanguard came along and said, well, basically, we can do this. We won't charge you very much money. And they don't put a lot of personality in it. They basically buy the index. And why I like them is that if I'm driving home at night and the radio personality comes on and says stock market's up 2% today, well, if I've got an index fund, I pretty well know my portfolio's gone up 2%.
Yep.
And they only charge figures like 0.22%.
Yeah, so when Ross comes on and says the market's up by 1.5 points, your index fund's up by 1.5 points.
Exactly, and they take a
Hold that thought. We've got a couple of calls on beer here. Hello, John.
Boys, how are you?
We're well.
That's the way. Listen, Lion Nathan is owned by the Jabs, mate. Yeah, Kieran.
So Kieran Brewery bought out Lion Nathan. Of course, Lion Nathan
bought
out Tooheys.
Yeah. Was Tooheys.
We should never let the Kiwis in the first place,
right,
John.
Mate, that's it.
Now, forgive me if I should know this. Tooheys, can you still buy... Do people still drink Tooheys Old?
Yes.
Yeah, oh, yeah. They call it black.
Tooheys Black.
And there's another one called brown, isn't there? Like there's two Tooheys Olds, and the real aficionados, they're very special about it too.
But John and Peter, isn't that a statement on where this country's gone, that we don't actually have a homegrown, locally owned brewing company, given the amount of beer this country drinks?
Yeah, well, you just heard Jonesy, mate. Coopers.
Yeah. Well, Cooper's true. Yeah. Although Cooper's is a you would describe Cooper's as a boutique brewery.
Yeah. I mean, what about Cascade?
Not a they got purchased by Foster's.
Yeah. Bogue is still locally owned.
I don't think so.
Yeah, really. So when I was in Launceston, was it?
Mm.
Yeah.
Bogue's Draft is a great beer.
Northern Tassie, mate.
What do you drink, John?
Me? You're going to laugh at this, mate. I drink Tooheys Gold.
I'm not going. Why would I laugh at that?
Responsible Australian.
Yeah, 3 point. It's a mid-strength beer, 3.2.
Yeah, it is pretty funny, actually. Why would you drink that, John? Thank you, John. I'd have to say that the most common beer that I would have in my fridge would probably be Crown Lager. Hello, Patrick.
Oh, good evening.
Yes, Patrick.
Oh, yeah, you just piqued my interest. I normally haven't got the radio on at this time of night. I'm getting ready to go.
Don't ever do that again, Patrick. Leave it on.
Go to sleep with us.
Oh, well, I used to listen to Brian Walsh here, but that's on too late. I drive trucks.
Good man.
Small trucks.
Yes.
Up to 15 tonne. But anyway, you mentioned the Great Beer Strike or something or other, and you were talking about Coopers.
Yeah, Southwark.
Yeah, the 3 beers came up to the...
Coopers came over as well at the same time.
Yeah. Well, the Bournemouth Bowling Club used to put on Southwark,
yes,
West End, and I think from memory...
West End, they're the South Aussie.
I remember West End.
They're both South Australian, aren't they?
I'll tell you a story about West End in a minute.
I think Singo brought West End.
Yeah, but not a patch on Coopers, which is the best beer in the world, as we all know. But and they also had James Bow, which I didn't like. It tasted like boiled up grass.
Well,
things to me, but no, I'll take that back now. But I think Coopers is the best, and I think at one stage, I think about 10 years ago or so, I read in the financial pages, Coopers was going to go onto the stock market, and I sort of held my breath, and fortunately they didn't.
No, they kept it within the family.
Yeah.
Look, I was born in South Australia, so when I turned 18, well, really when I turned 16, but legally when I turned 18, you were either a Southwark or a West End drinker, and you had to choose between the two. Your family usually dictated that. My old man drank long necks of Southwark, where our fridge in the garage was loaded up with those.
Yeah.
The story about the West End Brewery, it was on the western side of, obviously, the city of Adelaide. The brewery was right in the middle of town, and it had a massive chimney stack made out of bricks. And what they used to do at the end of every football season in the SANFL, whoever won the grand final, they'd paint the top of that chimney in the club colours.
How'd they get up there?
A ladder, I suppose.
Yeah, okay.
All right, thank
Anyway,
you.
God bless.
Thank you, Patrick. That's the most unusual question I've had all week. How did they get up there? How the hell do you think they got up there? Now, take me back to this index fund.
Okay, and I think the really interesting thing when you look at the actual website, Steve, tells you how these funds have been going over a 1 month, 3 month, 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, 10 years. And what's really interesting, the Vanguard High Yield Australian Shares Fund, so they put together the yielding shares in the Australian stock market. It's done on a 3-year basis per annum, 12.28%.
So that's from when to when?
So after the GFC, the worst of the GFC, the market started bouncing in March 2009. So over that 3-year period, it's done 12.8%. Interestingly, over a 5-year period, it did minus 1.8, and that's primarily because the GFC got in and mucked around. Now, the important thing, I think, is that Vanguard, the lesson is from our
So if you dumped some money in there after the GFC, you timed your run correct,
Yep.
you've done very well.
12.8%, and you're in safe shares all the time at a very low cost. So
And they take what percentage of your
about
return?
0.22, which is pretty good.
Why is everyone not doing it then?
Well, some people like the idea of going to a fund manager who might actually outperform, but I tell you what, only 1/3 of fund managers beat the index, and that's why a lot of people should play the index.
Just good advice. 10 minutes to 10 more calls with Peter, 131873 after this. Peter Switzer with us, and an email from Roy in Finland.